industry standard. Danjel Auto Spares and Accessories Limited at 20 Balmoral Avenue, Kingston 10, and shop number 10, 1A Chapelton Road. Call 876-929-9146. And Fosrich.
Listen up, Jamaica. At Fosrich, everybody's getting a solar water heater. $20,000 deposit. 6 months to pay. What a deal. Fosrich Financing.
You're locked in right here to the Station of the Stars. It's about that time in the afternoon. We're going to be joined in with WAFF Connect right here on the Station of the Stars. Don't touch the dial. Coming your way, it's Reverend Kimola Lowe here with WAFF Connect, a proud sponsor of Omega Radio.
I'm here for years, want to get a baby, and I will speak about my baby. I am excited. I'm my first fruit daughter.
Let signs and wonders, miracles follow you.
Welcome to WAFF Connect. Here's your host.
Well, what's up, my good people? Of course, it is a Monday, and we are excited when it's Mondays, right? Because from you hear this voice, you know it's about to be an amazing time. My name is Kimola Lowe, and I am the pastor here at Worship and Faith International Fellowship in Florida. We were in Fort Lauderdale, but we're in Florida. We are actually in Lauderhill, 5400 North University Drive in Lauderhill. We are excited about what God is doing in our church. We have solidly been having baptisms for the last 4 weeks, and people are just surrendering, giving their lives to the Lord. Rich testimonies are coming forth, and God is doing amazing things. Welcome to the month of May. And I want to let you know that this month, many things are being recognized, including children, mothers, teachers. The entire month, we're celebrating teachers, and we are looking at godly parenting in this 2025 that we live in. So let's jump into it. Let's jump into the thought of the day.
Please stay tuned for the thought of the day.
Thought of the day brought to you by Aunt May's Helsha Style Fish Fry Fridays. This and every Friday, they have a wide variety of mouth water. Listen, my mouth is running already. One whole heap of food over there for you to enjoy. You can go check them out at 3799 Northwest 26th Street in Lauderdale Lakes, Florida. Give them a call at 954-701-7732. or 954-990-3557. So as said, this month we are looking at godly parenting. And it is so important that we raise up our child or our children in the way that they should go. Because when they are old, the Bible said, they will not depart from it. So we have a great opportunity to raise up a generation that knows God. Because Joshua, the Bible said, after Joshua, there was a generation that did not know God. As a parent myself, I have a 16-year-old. I have a 5-year-old because she is bigger than her age. She's actually 4, but she's like 4 going on 25. And then I have a 1-year-old. And my daughters, I try my best every day. We say affirmations, we say scriptures, we sing songs of worship. And yesterday, my 4-year-old said to me, she said, Mom, Jesus is the wisdom of God. Jesus is the worship of God. Now, I've never said that to that child in all my life. But what I do know is that I have been planting the seed in her. Her father has been planting. We've been watering. And the result of that is godly children. Why? Because when you do the work from early, you will see the fruit thereof in the future. So don't worry about it. If your children are acting wayward right now, they're coming back because you have done the work from a tender age. We got a testimony today. So let's jump into the testimony of the day. Anybody got a testimony tonight?
I will testify. I will testify.
Do it, God. Do it, God. Somebody say, do it, God. Do it, God.
I think
Anybody
about
got a
3 years ago, I think I did a live, Pastor. I don't remember in the time exactly, but we did a live when we were at the old office, and you were talking about just God using me in the education system, and there was an office for me in the city, and I had served as a board member on the educational advisory board, and there was a re-election, and this was a complete new board, so nobody knew me, but based on that prophecy, I got a unanimous vote. So I am now the chair of the advisory board in the city of Lauderhill. Glory be to God.
Ha! Prophecies do work. I'm telling you, if you've got a prophetic word, watch for the fulfillment of that word. God bless you, Dr. Taj. All right, so today we have a wonderful woman of God. She's married. She's a mother of 3 beautiful adult daughters. She has her background, her in psychology. She does have a first honors in psychology and is now pursuing her master's in forensic psychology. She's an elementary teacher at a local school here in Florida. Very passionate about transforming lives and helping with others to achieve their full potential through discipline and self-awareness and acceptance. I want you to help me to make welcome today Aldith Hazard. How are you doing, my friend?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Pastor Kim.
Great evening. It
I
is
am
wonderful to have
well,
you.
dear listeners. I am great. I'm having a great day. Teachers' Day has started, Teachers' Week has started, and I am getting lots of love and appreciation, and I appreciate that.
Yes,
Yes,
good
I'm having a
teachers
great
get
day.
good love, right? I love this for you. Well, happy Teachers Week. As a matter of fact, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for the hard work that you do. We don't want you
Mhm.
to go unnoticed because we know teachers work hard. I had the thought today that there are 2 most important people in my children's life right now. Number one is their pastor, and number two is their teacher. And so I know the role that you play as a teacher is so delicate and important. So thank you again for what you do. But I do have some questions for you today. So I want to
Okay.
ask, as a teacher who works with children with disabilities, what is one major suggestion you can offer to parents of disabled children when working with the teacher to get that child to learn and to grow?
Okay, thanks for that question. Well, let me first say something. We tend to think about disabilities, but first of all, I'd want to say all children have abilities. And one of the first
Mm,
things I would encourage teachers and parents and everybody who needs to interact with these special needs children, is to acknowledge that they're not necessarily children with disabilities, but rather reframe that children with abilities who are having certain challenges,
I love that.
right? Or are experiencing certain challenges. And so, first of all, I'd want us to focus and celebrate their abilities rather
Wow.
than limit them based on the challenges that they're experiencing. So, children face many challenges. Some of them may be physical, and some of them, as it relates to mobility, and for others, it may be developmental, right? And
Wow.
and that can sometimes relate or translate into learning challenges, right? So personally, I would say to parents, you can support your children who may be having these developmental challenges or the physical challenges by having open and honest communications with the teacher so that they're aware of what is happening at home, and so we can modify how we respond to the child in the classroom, right? So if you're having these open and honest communications, then you will also be open to feedback from the teacher who may be experiencing certain behaviors in the classroom that you would not necessarily see displayed at home. Because remember now, when the child comes into the classroom, they're also relating to other people from different backgrounds, and there may be triggers. And children, especially at this age, they're innocent, and they have no filters, right? So they will see things and they will speak it, and it can bruise other children, right?
Mm.
And so it is important for you to have that dialogue and develop that and foster that relationship with your child's teacher, because the truth is the child teacher is spending more time, more waking hours with the child than you are.
My God.
So we're not just teaching them, we have to mother them,
Mm-hmm.
we have to nurture them. We have to reinforce the good behaviors that you're teaching them at home. It's also our responsibility to reinforce it and sometimes correct some of the things that you maybe overcompensate for.
Yes.
So so I would say the most important thing is to have that relationship, have that communication going with the teacher, so you can understand what is happening, what the expectations are, because they still need to learn.
Yes.
They may not learn at the same pace as other children who are, not challenged in the same way, but they still need to learn. So we need to be aware of the pace that we need to take them on, and you also need to be aware of how we're working with them, so you can reinforce that at home, because we're still going to hold them accountable for the ability that they have, right? We have to challenge them and then see how we can push past that, making them more resilient and build them, you increase the responsibility that you give them as they grow.
I love this discussion because, as a parent myself who would have a daughter who had those challenges and is now coming out of it, what you said about not looking at the child as a child with disability, but rather looking at that child for the abilities that they do have, but they are experiencing challenges. I mean, that shifted my mindset. And I really do hope that our listeners today are hearing this and it is challenging them, because language is so important, and so I really appreciate what you just said. It's definitely so important that we know what we are saying and how we phrase and frame what we do say. Last question, and then I'm going to ask you to just encourage some parents who may be going through. What is one of the main challenges teachers like you face in the schools, and how do you overcome it?
Okay, so one of the main challenges we find that we experience is behavioral challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that contribute to that behavior is the child may feel uncomfortable, they may feel out of place because they may not be able to keep up with the other students. And so because they're uncomfortable, they don't know, they're not grasping at the same rate, they may develop avoidance behaviors, right?
Wow.
You may see it as, oh, the child is being rude or restless, but the truth is they're uncomfortable, and so the defense mechanism will chip in automatically. And so rather than attempting a question that they are feeling stressed over, they just distract themselves. Unfortunately, it becomes a distraction for other students, right?
Yes.
So you'll find that they are busybodies, they're always talking, and really and truly it is just to recognize the behavior that they're displaying, what is the motivation behind that behavior, right?
Wow.
And most times you'll find it because they want to avoid doing the work. We have children sometimes who will fall asleep, who may they act out in different ways, right? But it's for us to be sensitive and not let them off the hook, right? Because it is a mechanism, and it's a natural mechanism. Adults do it too. You don't like a particular thing, so you act in a way to avoid having to do that. You will maybe pretend like you don't know, and
Wow.
so the fear, the embarrassment, and so on will cause them to act in a particular way, right?
That's so good.
Right. So one of the things I would want parents to be aware of is just be honest and be open and don't do the denial, because when you go into denial, it makes it difficult, because you then are not being able to, you're not in a position where you can reinforce what is happening at school, right? And the children will get away with doing the wrong thing or responding in the wrong way, and those little habits become worse as they grow, because when they're a certain age, it's no longer cute, right?
Yes.
And society won't overlook it. So it's important for you to retrain, do the behavior modification, explain to them in a way that they can understand that this is not acceptable. Let us see how we can replace these kinds of behaviors. How can you learn to communicate better how you're feeling? What are the things you can do to self-soothe so you're not, getting angry, getting frustrated, and acting out, right?
Wow.
Some other things, Pastor Kim, that we can look at, some practical things, and it may sound like I'm, repeating things that are obvious.
Give it to us in a minute.
Diet.
Go ahead.
Yes, diet, exercise, rest for our children. That is critical in helping them to be able to balance their mood and to build resilience, right?
Wow.
Emotional awareness, right? So if the children are not eating healthy, then it means that the brain is struggling to function, especially with the challenges they may be experiencing. It's going to be hard for them to concentrate if their diet is sugar-based, for example. If they're not getting adequate rest, it's going to be difficult for them to function and to keep pace, which is something that may already be a challenge for them. So just a few nuggets that I want to share with our parents.
No, it looks like you're going to have to come back for the entire month. I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, we are out of time, but not out of words. And I just want to say, Aldith, that, thank you so much for this, in just such a short time. I feel so heavy coming off this live because the information is so potent and rich. So I must have you back. I must have you back to finish up this discussion. But thank you for all the hard work that you do. And we appreciate all the teachers out there. We love you, especially those who are working with children who have abilities but are experiencing challenges. So let me fix up my language from right now. And thank you again. Thank you so much, Aldith. Well, thank you. We love you guys. Thank you for listening to us today. And we will be here next week, Monday. And you may never know, Aldith might just be coming back to give us more of this luscious meal that she just presented on the table. Thank you for listening. And this is WAFIF Connect.
Just heard WAFIF Connect, a program about the supernatural, where you get your miracles now. That's right, real stories from real people with real results. And aired on this station Monday to Friday at 4:30 p.m. with Apostle Courtney McLean and our campus pastors, Reverend Kimola Lowe of WAFIF Fort Lauderdale, Reverend Kenroy Waldo, WAFIF Clarendon, and Reverend Tennyson Dixon of WAFIF Canada. And produced by WAFIF, Worship and Faith International Fellowship.
You're just locked in right here to WAFIF Connect with your host, Reverend Kimola Lowe. Tune in each and every weekday at 4:30 p.m. here on the Station of the Stars. Or just stay tuned as we transfer on over to Sports Decks with Suzanne and Orville here on Omega Radio.
And stuff.